This is the HTC One M9, the successor to last year's One M8. Yep, another year, another excellent phone from HTC that's almost the best Android phone in its class. What's happening, RDJ? The M9 is the third M phone in the HTC One line, the first being the M7 that launched back in 2013. That phone marked the beginning of a strange time in the company's history. The M7 won numerous awards for its elegant metal unibody design and was widely considered the best Android phone of that year. But for the next model, the M8, HTC tried to innovate with its camera using ultra pixels and a secondary depth sensor. People did not like it, me included. It just didn't work. Well, I mean, it worked, it had some depth of field effects and stuff, but it was a gimmick that turned an otherwise great phone into a mediocre one. So what has HTC innovated on with the M9? Well, actually, they kind of, perhaps wisely, went back to basics a bit while updating the phone hardware to current flagship standards. The design of the phone is very similar to its predecessor, although instead of a unibody design, there's two main parts to the body. A duo body? I don't know. The back of the phone still has that brushed metal look, but thanks to some sort of coating, actually feels kind of like plastic, which actually makes the phone much easier to grip than the slippier metal feel of the M8. The front is made of a single metal piece all the way around with those same excellent boom sound speakers on either side of the 5-inch display. These speakers remain the best you can get on a smartphone today. I still don't understand why we don't see this on more phones. HTC has Dolby branding this time around, and you can switch between music mode, which seems to emphasize bass and treble a little more, and theater mode, which seems to add a little bit of reverb and flesh out the mids. HTC has moved the power button from the top to the side like most other phone makers these days, but unfortunately, it's just a little too low since they felt the need to put it on the same side as the two volume buttons. I very often mistook it for the volume down button, but it's not a huge deal if you always have a case on your phone like I do. Also on the same side is the Microsd Slot. Yes, the very same slot that the S6 abandoned. Why? On the other side, all we have is the nano SIM card tray. Psst, put the volume buttons here next time. On the bottom, a micro USB port and headphone jack, and on the top, an IR blaster so you can use it as a remote for your TV, game console, or even air conditioner. Alright, let's talk specs. The M9 has a 5-inch 1080p display. Yes, that's right, I said 1080p because that's all you need in a phone, people. You have to get your face unnaturally close to the display before you even see a hint of pixels. No one's using their phone like this. Stop putting 1440p screens on phones, and we don't even need to talk about 4K yet. Seriously. Make them all IPS before you go up the res. Sorry, I just needed to get that out. Inside the phone, the M9 is powered by the super fast Snapdragon 810, alleged overheating issues and all, and an Adreno 430 GPU and 3 gigs of RAM. And as a result, it is incredibly snappy. I very rarely had to wait for apps to load, and all the animations are very short, so navigating was fast. There's 32 gigs of storage, but again with a micro SD slot for expansion, and a 2840 mAh battery, which had no trouble lasting all day with typical usage. Strangely, the M9 supports Quick Charge 2.0, but their charger that comes with the phone doesn't support that spec. You can buy one that supports it, but they don't include it, which is too weird. I've seen some reviews say that the battery was not good after heavy testing, but that is heavy testing. With occasional browsing sessions, texting, and calls, I made it to the end of the day easy with around 30% battery. But just in case, the M9 comes with power-saving modes. 2 power-saving modes, actually. The first is your typical power saver. It turns haptic feedback off, dims the screen, and all that. But extreme power-saving mode disables all non-essential functions, only giving you access to calls, texts, email, calendar, and calculator. This mode was awesome. It seemed to just kind of freeze the battery when I was below 15%. I felt like turning it on anytime I knew I wasn't going to be using it for a while because standby was that good. Now, what wasn't that good is the camera. Yes. It is a 20 megapixel f2.2 shooter that can record up to 4K video. It is loads better than the M8's ultra-pixel duo camera and performs pretty decent, especially when there's lots of light. In low light, however, it stumbles a bit. It has trouble focusing, colors seem a bit off, and it can't seem to resolve as much detail as the Galaxy S6's camera, which actually only has 16 megapixels. The M9's full manual mode can help with that, and it's certainly a great inclusion for people who love tweaking, but realistically, most people depend on the automatic shooting mode. This is not to say that the M9 has a terrible camera, because it doesn't. It's in the okay to pretty good range. When you compare its photos to the S6's or the iPhone 6 though, the difference is pretty clear. During my review, the M9 did get a software update that listed camera performance improvement among the release notes. After the update, colors seemed a little bit more vibrant and there was less overexposure, but unfortunately, low light performance didn't seem to be affected that much. Now, the selfie camera, on the other hand, is awesome. It's an ultra-pixel shooter, and this is where that technology belongs. Selfie addicts should be pleased with the beauty face feature that smooths out facial imperfections, and know that whenever you use it, I will know and be disappointed. Speaking of software features, let's talk about what's included here. HTC's Sense 7 remains one of the best Android skins in my opinion. The features and apps that HTC includes are actually useful for the most part. HTC's Grid View for multitasking is nice, although you can also use Android's default Cards View. I particularly like that you can activate HTC Connect by swiping 3 fingers up on any screen to show whatever content you're currently looking at on nearby smart displays. The UI is easy to interact with and beautiful. But even if it's not beautiful enough, HTC has included a new themes system that allows you to completely customize what your phone looks and acts like. There's a number of preset themes, user-uploaded ones available to download, or you can make your own based on a background that you can choose. It's pretty cool. Now, adorning the home screen when you first unlock the phone is the Sense Home widget, which attempts to analyze your use patterns and predict which apps you'll need when you're at home, at work, or out. I've seen a few predictive systems like this in the wild now, and I've got to say, I prefer having my apps organized in folders on specific home screens so I always know how to get to them. Once I set home and work locations, Sense Home did know when I was there and adjust the widget accordingly, but a few times the apps were in different places, and there's also this suggestions folder with some apps that aren't installed. Weird. If you are into the whole adaptive/predictive home screen thing, try out Yahoo Aviate. It's an Android launcher that replaces your whole home screen instead of a widget. I spent a few weeks with it installed in my phone, and I kind of liked it. At any rate, whether you like Sense Home or not, it's a matter of preference. Lastly, HTC's motion launch gestures have also returned, which are only supposed to work when you have your phone in hand, although this time you can enable or disable them individually if you want. You can double tap the screen to wake, double tap again to sleep, swipe up to unlock the phone, swipe down to use voice dialing, and my favorite, hit the volume button while in landscape mode to launch the camera app. Because vertical video is wrong. So what's the story with the M9? This is a good phone, an excellent phone, in terms of build quality, performance, expandability, UI design, and audio. And the camera is, for all of its faults, still pretty good. Here's hoping that it improves even more with software upgrades. But despite being top of its class in all those areas, HTC still struggles to put out a great camera in their flagship phone. Maybe it's time to partner with Sony or another company to use a better sensor. I don't know, I don't build phones. Bottom line, if you're looking for a kick-ass flagship phone, the One M9 is, like the M8 and M7 before it, one of the best. Thanks for watching this review of the HTC One M9, guys, and let us know, is there anything you wish HTC changed with the M9 that they didn't? Will they ever make their way back to the top? Leave a comment below. Well, that's it. Like or dislike the video, whatever pops your corn. Really? Wow. It was late at night when I wrote this. And don't forget to subscribe for more videos like this from NCIX.